host, Julianne Wright. The Gazette has made a discovery at Granite Hills High School, and we found out girls are dominating over guys in academics. Girls have been dominating in ranks, GPA, and test scores. In fact, we haven't had a male valedictorian in years. We want to uncover why this is happening. To begin, we must find the source of the issue, and to find the source, we must develop a hypothesis. Is it the guys' fault? Are the guys just lazy? Or is it just the girls are more motivated to excel in academics? Are girls smarter than boys? To find out these answers, we interviewed Miss Duncan, the Granite Hills High School principal.
Question is, why do I think girls or young ladies are doing better in high school today than the guys are? And so I was just kind of thinking about one of my theories. Back when I was in school in the 50s and 60s, many years ago, guys usually did better. There have been studies made that said teachers spent more time with their male students. They expected more from them. They called on them in class to answer questions more. And even back then, women went to college, but it was also very acceptable for them to stay home and be a full-time mom. And at times, they were even frowned on if they got a job and the kids needed to go to childcare. I believe things started changing in the late 60s and early 70s with the women's liberation movement. Women and young ladies learned that they were just as smart as their male counterpoints, and that going to college was much more accepted for young ladies. Now, there's no difference in intelligence. Guys are as smart as the girls are and vice versa. But I believe starting in the 70s, they became more determined to be equal with the guys in their class and in the workforce. And to do that, they needed to work harder than they had been. So why is it happening at Granite Hills High School? Can't tell you. Maybe we need to ask some of the guys out there and find out what's going on with them and why they aren't excelling like they certainly should be. We should be equal. We should have as many guy valedictorians as we have girls. And I hope that happens soon.
And ask the guys we did. We ran around school asking the male students why they think boys are falling behind in academics.
Well, girls have been doing it for a long time and they've been just all focused on work, and that's all they have to focus about. Boys, on the other hand, have a lot of responsibilities, like their fathers put them to work. Most boys have jobs, and most boys just don't have time to do work sometimes, and then like the girls have all this time in the world to do all their work they want, and so that's all they focus on, and that's why they have more standards than us, or higher standards.
Girls have less responsibility once they turn an older age. Their parents depend on the male most of the time, the older male, to help them out with the bills, help them out through the house. Yeah, you know, they give them more responsibility with taking care of the kids, their younger siblings, everything, and the women basically have more time to do their work in their schoolwork and stuff, and the men don't.
The majority of students at Granite Hills are of Hispanic descent. The answers from our student boys argue that Hispanic descent males have more responsibility at home than girls do. But will girls agree with their argument?
Okay, so the majority of the females at Granite Hills High School are Hispanic, and in Hispanic families, the females are expected to clean and do all the dishes, and they just have more expected of them. So that's why they have higher academic.
In my opinion, this is a hypothesis that I have made over the years, 23 years of teaching. I think women, female mothers, tend to give more responsibility to their daughters than they do to their sons. So I think that the girls have an advantage growing up. They've learned how to work harder in the home, and then they can translate this to school, this work ethic to school, transfer it to school. And so I think that's a good possibility of why girls at Granite Hills High School have a higher academic standing than their male counterparts.
Obviously, the female students would have to disagree and argue that girls have more to do for their families, which result in them being more responsible and having higher academics. The way parents raise children could definitely be one of the main sources why boys are falling behind in academics, but not all students would agree that it's the parents' fault.
I think girls are more successful because they are more motivated. And I think it has a little bit to do with hormones. I think girls can settle down a little bit easier than boys during the teenage years and can stay more focused.
I don't think guys are slacking as much as girls are just getting more motivated than guys are. I think girls, since they've been oppressed for all of these years, they're finally able to get an education and get careers, and they're just more motivated to do that, whereas guys aren't very motivated. So it's kind of the guys' fault, but I think it's mostly because the girls are just more motivated than guys are.
Lack of motivation, no focus, that can definitely also be one of the main reasons. By asking students, we found out that guys admit to having lack of motivation. Some would say guys don't care about grades as much as girls, although there's one opinion that was unthought of and would have never crossed our minds.
Okay, so I think part of the problem at the high school level is that boys perceive sort of there's a stigma with being seen as smart. That once you hit puberty, it's all about sort of proving your masculinity and being the strong guy, and you know, academics doesn't play into that role, and no one wants to be seen, I suppose, as the outsider, and I think that boys kind of leave academics behind to some extent because, you know, it doesn't make them fit in necessarily to, you know, the big man on campus kind of idea.
In my opinion, the reason why guys lack in school is because it's not cool and it's harder to get girls that way, I guess. I don't know.
Being smart is not cool. Would being smart actually throw off a guy's charm with a girl? We thought guys wanted smart girls. Our theory to this explanation is that we believe guys being a so-called schoolboy is not a good reputation for them, so they dumb themselves down. Although we covered most of the main reasons why guys are slipping behind girls, there are still other points of views from our Granite Hills students.
Because girls aren't expected to succeed, and that's what drives them more.
I think girls have are better academically because they actually take it seriously, not like, I mean, they're concerned about their future, they like think about it, and it's not a joke to them. And yeah, and I just think, you know, guys, they don't care. It's like all about now and having fun now, and girls, they think ahead, they're planners, and guys, they're just like, right now, let's have fun right now.
Well, the reason why I think the girls have higher academics than guys is because I think that the guys are too caught up in their girls and everything, and that they're not focused in school enough. So yeah, or they don't get sleep.
Mr. Peterson, a social science teacher, has reason to believe that guys are not as academically successful as girls in school because of the way things are taught. He has even proposed a solution that might resolve the issue with the male students at Granite Hills High School.
Why do females do better than males academically at school? I think there are many factors. One factor I think is the fact that the way schools are designed now, we don't do a lot of hands-on activities. It's very structured, and I think the way we do it tends to play into the strengths of girls as far as being organized. Of course, there are some disorganized girls, but being organized, and boys tend to do better at hands-on activities, and we don't really give a lot of opportunities to do that sort of thing. Don't offer as many opportunities to do things that develop spatial awareness. I think things are a lot stricter now, and boys are more active, need to be up and about, and a lot of our lessons are not suited to that. So in my case, I've tried to incorporate things where students are allowed to get up and move more, because trying to just keep everyone quiet in their seats is not very engaging, and it's males really have a problem in that environment. Not all males, but many do. leads to behavior problems and disruptions and that sort of thing. So we need to play to the strengths of the students, and I think it's the system as it is now tends to play more to the strengths of females. A possible solution is to introduce more activities that are more hands-on, and a more radical solution could be possibly for core academic classes to have boys' classes and girls' classes.
Why are girls dominating in academics over guys? We believe the reason depends on the individual male student. The morality of the story is that male students at Granite Hills High School need to stop making excuses and hit the books. So guys, get your act together.